Hi, my name's Abby, and I'm going to be telling you about stress and how to manage it. As students, young adults, and people in general, stress is inevitable. It's stated that the United States experiences some of the highest levels of stress in the world. We all deal with stress daily, whether it be in the minor inconveniences or the major inconveniences. When you struggle with something or want to change something, what do you typically do? Find a solution, which requires research, right? Well, I've done that, so you don't have to. Let me educate you all on what stress is, the triggers and outcomes of it, and how to manage it. Merriam-Webster defines stress as physical, chemical, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension. There are three major types. These include acute stress, episodic acute stress, and chronic stress. An article by Security Counseling did a great job explaining the differences between the three of these stress types. In it, they state that acute stress appears when you feel there's a threat to your well-being, and it only lasts a short period of time and is the most common. Episodic stress is more detrimental. This one appears when you experience acute stress too often. Lastly, if you haven't inferred, chronic stress is the most harmful to someone. It's long-term stress that can affect the whole body and has the possibility to make its symptoms seem normal to someone who suffers from it. I dove a little deeper to inform you on what causes stress and the effects of it. There are several things that could trigger your stress and several outcomes from stress. The ones that automatically come to mind usually deal with personal matters, money, job or school, or relationships. Anything that causes any worry or discomfort in your life can create stress. The effects stress has is abundant. The American Institute of Stress really goes into depth on how much stress can actually affect you. They give 50 common symptoms of it, which I will not list entirely, but a few of these include difficulty concentrating, feeling overwhelmed, and social withdrawal. They also go into detail on how it can affect one's body, and every system can be affected by stress. These effects are, of course, based on how stressed you are and who you are. Stress does affect everyone differently. So now that we know what it is and signs of it, next step is learning how to manage it. Depending on the type of stress and again the person, different methods may work better. Harvard Health gives good examples on how to manage stress. The first and most obvious being to avoid things that will trigger it. The next good tip that they give us is relaxation techniques. Some examples of these are things like meditation, yoga, deep breathing, or anything that you find relaxing or calming. Another suggestion is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which helps direct you from thinking negatively. The last method Harvard mentions is goal setting. This method sort of correlates with CBT by thinking positively towards something you want to achieve. Making goals for yourself also distracts you from your stress. Those were just some of the many ways you can manage your stress. Of course, the course of action really depends on the situation you are stressing over. Stress may be inevitable, but you can identify and manage it. But if you can identify and manage it, the stress will become much more bearable. With the knowledge I just presented to you, it will be easier to notice your stress. You now know the different types of stress along with some of the causes for it and how it affects you. Some of the practices I mentioned may be useful in helping you handle your stress. But as I have stated before, you must find what works for you in your situation, just as you would do for anything else.